When you get to a point in your painting and you are struggling with what to do, put it aside. For weeks now, I've had this painting sitting over here. So let's see it's up close. I realised that I have two enormous shapes, one big triangle and one big triangle, and this was the problem, and I knew that was the problem, I just didn't know what to do about it. And then suddenly I realised this mass so closely resembles this mass, so I need to break up that mass. Basically, I've got a composition where I've got a big rectangle and I've got a mass that comes down like that. I've got a smaller triangular shape that comes down to there. I've reduced the bottom of this mass by adding a line. I'll just show you by, oops, I've got a few sheets so my marker doesn't accidentally go through. I've invented a line across here to try and improve the landscape. Then I came in with gold, and that has added a lovely bit of texture, but it hasn't solved it. It's a compositional problem. So to go back to my thumbnail, this mass matches that one, so therefore I need to break it up. So my first thought is that in the center, I will create a moon shape, a round shape. Is it a moon? Is it a star? Is it a sun? Doesn't matter. The point is, compositionally, I want to break up this shape. So my options are that I put it smack in the middle, and you know, you got to wonder, I'm just redrawing it, you got to wonder if that's a little boring to just smack it in the middle there. So I could put it over closer to here, like that. I've made it a little bigger. Of course, it could be smaller, but very hard to tell whether or not that's, but isn't that way more interesting than that one? Let's try another idea. Big mass over here, small triangle there, big mass there. Quite like the magic of that one. I also love the idea that the shape might be attached to the outside, certainly not evenly in the corner, because that's just, you know, it's just very static. But it could be going much lower, and it could be smaller, and it could be there in the center of those two objects. And oh, I quite like that one too. So this is going well. Let's see if we can come up with another option and then choose the best one. So I could have it hanging off the top. I could hang it hanging off the side. I could have it down there. Let's see what that looks like if I do it there. And it will be light. Over here is kind of dark and then goes lighter. Over here is kind of dark and then goes lighter. And this is kind of just all mid-tone anyway, so let's just fill it in. Okay, and this will be light, and then there's quite a bit of dark up here. There's just masses of darks everywhere, which is very interesting because then that goes over there. It will really draw focus because it will be the lightest part of the whole painting. So, do I like it over there? Not really. The other thing to keep in mind is that I'm going to be lifting. There's many ways you could do it. You could make a stencil, but I kind of wondered whether or not I could just use a shape that I have. I can't use something like that because I can only paint, either paint around it or remove around it, and it creates problems for the rest of the background. If I remove, it's much easier for me. This one's about the same size, but an expensive tape, so I don't want to get it wet. And this is a cheaper packing tape. So I might, I'm going to use a sponge. That's about the same. I might have to just make my size choice based on this. I also have these little ones, so I could do a really small one, and I wonder how that would look if I did a really small little light one there. And is that quite nice? I mean, it'd be really easy, I can tell you that, to just, I'll have that off in a few seconds. A little small one versus putting in a big one. We've already established that I'm not going to put it there, but I did think about putting it here. Yeah, that just feels wrong. Though these are beautifully pointing in, so perhaps I go for that small one and it goes down there. I use this shape. Is that going to interrupt that mass sufficiently? Actually, it's not. And my goal is to interrupt that mass. So it turns out I do need to use the big one. The ideal spot would be to lift some of this dark colour here, here, here. But there is a nice amount there. What about if I just had it touching a little bit onto the mountain? So how will that look? So I need to draw that out. Another piece of paper. Here's my rectangle. Here's my big mass. I might be more careful about where it ends up. Ends about there it ends. This one comes from about there and goes down to this point. And then this line is around there. And I'm suggesting that I put a light shape there, because then I'm touching this colour, touching this big mass and reducing that at the same time. But it's also pretty central in terms of the painting, isn't it? Going there. Oh no, it's off to the right. That's quite good. It does make me want to put it further to the right. So that would be putting the mass here. And there's a nice dark amount. Okay, decision made. Now, I usually use those kitchen sponges, but I don't happen to have any at the moment. So I've got one of these sea sponges. Right, a hand towel, lovely and close. I'll move it over so I don't want any drips. And I'm hoping that this works. And we will see shortly. Oh my, oh, ow, my knuckle just cracked. Not in a good way. Okay, removing. It's coming off nicely. I'll get a lovely soft edge. I'll just see if I can make the edge a little stronger before I move it. Oh no, it'd be much easier this way. Right, and now I get this beautiful soft moon-like shape, and it's got beautiful soft edges. Now, what about, how's that looking? Okay, it's quite lovely. Let's say these are working nicely, compositionally, these are working nicely to lead me to the moon. Go back to my sponge, get rid of the colour. And give it a highlight. It'll give it way more dimension if you give it a little highlight. Now I need to lighten all these edges because that would make a little bit of sense that these would be shining a white light all around here. I'm excited to have a look and see whether or not I've improved it. And it's been sitting there for months and months and months, and I've been unable to solve it. And what's interesting is that I've been on a holiday and creating this and that, some of it okay. But the thing is about going on a holiday is that I came back and I had a look at it and suddenly saw the masses and the way forward. Okay, that's lovely. I'm going to remove a little bit. It's so much better, and it's really drawing your attention, so I'm loving that. Now I want the viewer to come down, hit the moon shape. Hopefully this helps continue your eye down to here. And perhaps the water is really light as well with the moonlight. Now I've put so much paint and mixed media down here, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm using beautiful quality watercolour paper so it's able to handle this harsh treatment. So far the only thing that's collapsing is my sponge, and the paper's just handling it beautifully. I might, no I won't. Okay. Peel that off and see if it's lighter than behind. A little. I created a line. It's Now, is there anything else that I would change? Usually the answer is about dark, so go through your tones. Squint your eyes. Have you got enough lights? Yes, I do. Squint your eyes again. Have you got enough mid-tone? That is nearly always the answer to that is yes. And then squint your eyes again. Have I got enough darks? I could do with more darks. There are beautiful darks here. I'm just squinting to see where the darks and the lights are. And I'd really like to add some darks in this area here. So I've got beautiful gold and blue, and I could paint over it, but then I'll lose my gold. So I might just get a lovely grey marker. Changed my mind. I'm going to use these new crayons I've gotten, these Caran d'Ache ones, water soluble, and I'm going to add darks in amongst that beautiful purple. Just adds texture, and it's water soluble, so I can wet it if I feel like it. Just adding beautiful darks in here because the painting needs some darks. Oh, hey, they blend as well, so I can get this beautiful blue here and put it on top of my black and turn it into a beautiful blue-grey. Just on one end to kind of draw your eye in. That's better. And then these houses can have some, oops, wrong one. Go back to that beautiful dark black. Put in some shadows over here and over there. I don't know what I think about that texture at all. Okay. Time to get in a wet brush, just barely damp, it's just been sitting there, and I'm going to soften these ones because I just went too far with the texture. Just wanted to get the sphere thing happening. Just lifting off the light part. I don't know whether I've improved it or made it worse. I'll take more off because I can put it back on if I don't like it. Oh, that's a bit better. Okay, great. There's a bit of tone on this side, so that's pretty good. I'm not going to play with it anymore because I might just make it much worse. Okay, have another look. How is it going? What do we need to do now? We need some darks in here. That's much better. This looks more like water. I've got these marks down here, which are just horrible. I think I will attempt to go over them with some blue. Have I improved it? I really like what I did over here. That's just white, silver on a pale colour, and it's just adding a beautiful texture, and most of the lines move this way. So hopefully this area of the painting brings you in to the centre of interest, or either that, or but at least it's not distracting, so it's not taking you out. So the other thing I could do at this stage, because this circle is just so wrong. There's something, I mean, it's done now. But what I was wondering is it completely awkward because I haven't repeated the shape? So I've got this circle thing that I never use. And I thought, all right, I wonder what it would look like if I am squeezing all of the extra moisture out. What if I create the little circles down here? I don't know if they're going to look like circles, but I wonder if it will reduce the starkness of it's coming off. I wonder if it will reduce the starkness of my moon. And there's all these different shapes. So I might just experiment with that for a second. Well, not for a second, for as long as I feel like it. There, how's that? Huh, interesting. It is a bit circular. It's quite soft what I'm doing. That's really lovely. So that means I could put it down here. That's going to be hard to get off though. I need one of those scrubbers, and I do have one. Somewhere. I actually did a video on lifting, so I don't know where it is. This happens to me, and I'm just getting older and caring less and thinking, just solve it in another way. I think because going and searching for things is so annoying, and if I've done it to myself, that's the worst. Haha, I'm loving the little circles. I think I shall keep going with it. There's a bigger circle here, so let's put in a bigger circle. I'm going to make a little house. I can't draw it in with a water-soluble marker, because what happens is that it's already wet and the water-soluble marker will not like that one bit, and so it'll just try and fail and frustrate you. A bit of water to soften this side of the... Oh, it's a... is it ink tense? Yes. So this ink should be... Oh, it's travelling inwards. That's what's happening there. It's all wet everywhere, so I'm not really in control. Doesn't matter. Put a little bit of the colour everywhere. That's just fine. Bit of colour. Okay. How's that? I bet that's not the end. Let's have a look. Did it help at all? I think it did. I like these two things on the painting. That's funny. I looked up and thought, that looks cool. Okay. It is officially better, but I've created 3 other problems. I am at the point where I've got to decide now, trash or treasure. Is it to become a stunning card for someone I really like? Because I've invested heavily in this one now. And wouldn't it make the most beautiful cover for a journal, a really huge journal? The back of it's pretty good. That would be the front and that would be the back. Wouldn't it make the most amazing card as well? Should sell it as a big card. Stunning like that. I love that part of it. I don't love the whole part of it at all. In fact, I hate the back of it. Well, it's definitely not going to be treasure. It's definitely going to have some other purpose. And I think that the idea that it becomes the cover of some sort of journal or a watercolour book. I should make a watercolour book to go in there and sell it as a watercolour journal. Oh, what a brilliant idea. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. And you know what? So that I don't stare at this anymore, well, you know what? I will give myself a day to have a look at it tomorrow and decide whether, oh my God, no, it's not right. Stop thinking about it. Sometimes I just overthink these things way too much. I've found a purpose, and the purpose is going to be in the form of a journal. It's going to be a watercolour journal cover. I've been thinking about this for quite a while, making a watercolour journal where you fill it, I fill it with different sorts of watercolour paper for people to buy. Okay, I'm just going to put this in the press and say thank you so much for watching another video where we solve the problems of the painting. And I think we did a bit of problem solving, and although it wasn't successful, it doesn't matter. Every time you do it, you get better at the process of solving. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, guys. See you next time. And if you'd like to see another problem solving video, then watch this one. If you want to see another problem solving video, watch this one. Watch this one, this one, this one, wherever it appears on the screen. There'll be a link. See ya, bye. it.